render things muddier. It's kind of like laundry detergent. Your brights will be brighter. Your darks will be darker. Your lights will be light. That's the good quality color rendering index. So anything 90 above, you're in good shape. Okay. If it doesn't mention it at all, beware. If it's below 90, especially when it comes to critical things like lights in a closet, trying to pick out your clothes, you don't want a muddy, low-quality bulb there. All right, this is the new language of lighting. You know what? We've got time to jump into the calls. We'll at least get one started, and then we are off to the races. Let's talk to Rick. Hey, Rick, welcome home.
Yes, good morning. I want to run some low-voltage LED lights for some trees in my backyard. And these lights are going to be nestled in some deep brush. Is there any concern that this could be a fire hazard?
Low voltage landscape lighting?
Correct.
No. There's no, there should be no worry whatsoever that it's going to be a fire hazard. Now, I would never tell anybody just, intentionally put plant material right on the lens of a bulb. But the fact of the matter is, they just don't create that much heat. They don't. Low volt. Now, let me be really clear. I'm talking low voltage stuff, not high voltage, but 12-volt transformer stuff, especially LED-driven lights. They just don't create that much heat. Not that lens can't get warm if it's been on for several hours. Sometimes you'll see when it starts to rain, in late at night after the landscape lights have been on for several hours, you'll see, a little steam or mist rise off the light. That's typical. But I know of no landscape lighting where there's a warning that, if something like if a leaf is touching the front of the lens, that somehow it will cause be a fire hazard or cause an ignition.
Well, good. Well, that's what I was asking about, because I just didn't want to have a situation where I could potentially be causing some trouble.
Yeah, no, I just don't bury it intentionally with stuff touching it. But backlighting thick brush is a really cool effect at times. Just leave a little bit of clearance around it, even if there is thick brush in front of it, and you're not going to have a problem, Rick. Thanks for the call, buddy, and for the question. Your question got an answer that was perfect timing to take us to the break, and when we come back, we'll go back to the phones. You are home with Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer. Your call's up next. Brian Baruna has the news.
Well, a judge in L.A. has ruled the state's law mandating people in minority groups onto corporate boards is unconstitutional. A measure of California's mountain snow levels shows a snowpack that's only at 38% of an average year, and the Muslim holy month of Ramadan has begun. We're going to take a look at some trouble on the 10 next.
The Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, is a law that guarantees equal access for the disabled as a constitutional right. It is a great law. The problem is, it's been the law of the land since 1990, but still, most brick-and-mortar businesses and commercial properties and multi-unit dwellings are not in full compliance. Your property or place of business without a tax certification is a lawsuit waiting to happen. And if you say, it's not a big deal, you should know that California leads the country in ADA lawsuits. So what do? You call ARCOR, ARCOR. ARCOR will identify your ADA deficiencies and show you the path to the certification you need to minimize your exposure. One ADA lawsuit can really mess with you. Get out in front of liability with ADA certification from ARCOR. Call ARCOR toll-free at 866-613-2519, 866-613-2519, or go to adagurus.com.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org. This report is sponsored by unbound.org.
SoCal weather from KFI, cloudy through the weekend, then temperatures in the 90s next week. This report brought to you by unbound.org. Taking a look at KFI traffic, we've got a crash on the 10.
Oil
Heights on the westbound side of the 10, right at the 5 interchange. We have a crash there that's been blocking lanes. CHP on the scene trying to move it over to the right side. But watch for delays from noises. Soto, West Covina on the eastbound side of the 10. Sunset Avenue to Azusa Avenue. The full closure picked up. Left lane reopened. Right lane, 3 right lanes still shut down by Caltrans there until around midnight on Sunday. So watch for some slowing heading into that stretch. In Fountain Valley on the northbound side of the 405, Euclid to Brookhurst, all lanes still closed there by Caltrans. That's got you back up to about Harbor. Southbound side, you had closures there in place as well. Looks like they're picking up those cones. KFI in the sky helps get there faster. I'm Robert Dubucky.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Hey all, it's Dean Sharp. Are you looking to sell your home in 2022? Well, congratulations, that's a big deal. For most of us, it's the biggest deal of all. So let's make sure you get everything out of it that you can. Before you get ready to list, make sure you call the good folks at Revive. Revive's business is to maximize your home's sale value. How? By guiding you through market-critical upgrades before you sell. It's like flipping your own home, except Revive fronts the cost and guarantees the results. Yeah, you heard me right. No money out of pocket and a higher selling price guaranteed. You can list higher and sell faster in just a few short weeks. In fact, the average homeowner sees $160,000 in additional profit. This is a no-brainer. Revive has created an easy, stress-free way to maximize your greatest asset, your home. So are you thinking about selling? Well, you can settle or you can see what's possible. To get started, visit iloverevive.com. That's iloverevive.com.
Need a new water heater? Water Heaters Only, with over 54 years in business, offers low prices, quality same-day service, and 0% deferred interest financing. Visit waterheatersonly.com. That's waterheatersonly.com. Terms and conditions apply.
At Cedar Sinai, we're right here in Los Angeles. Here is a routine checking out or unexpectedly dropping in. Here is a resource for today's clinical challenges and a teacher of tomorrow's physicians. Here is a neighbor to those in need and an organizer of health programs in your community. Here, we believe that people deserve to be treated like, well, people. Here, with over 250 locations in Southern California, a helping hand is well within reach. Cedar Sinai is right here.
You know, when you hear me say there are only 2 kinds of solar companies out there, Sunlux and everyone else, I'm really not kidding around. I'm very proud of Sunlux. I'm proud that they are a sponsor of our show because just recently, Tesla, they have opened up their entire residential solar ecosystem to just a handful of trusted companies who they are going to trust to get it right. And guess who Tesla selected for Southern California? Yeah, Sunlux. Sunlux and Tesla is an excellent partnership. Tesla panels, their low-profile mounting system, genius. The world's single most sought-after solar component, the Tesla Powerwall battery. Anybody can order them for you, but Sunlux, because of their relationship with Tesla, can actually get them for you. It all amounts to the most advanced solar in the industry, and it's waiting for you at Sunlux. There really are only 2 kinds of solar companies in Southern California, Sunlux and everyone else. Get the whole Tesla solar ecosystem, including Powerwall batteries, at sunlux.com, sunlux.com. CSLB 1008374.
Poor Sam was a mess. Always itching, licking. His paws were soaking wet. He had bald spots on his back. DINOVITE.com. 2 weeks after he started Dynamite, I started seeing great improvements. And today, 99% of his issues are non-existent. Dynamite is nutrition. Dynamite is the best thing you can do for your dog.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dynamite from DINOVITE.com.
The word is out. People are abandoning their overpriced wireless carriers and flocking to Pure Talk for the same 5G coverage, but at a fraction of the price. In fact, the average family saves over $800 a year when switching from Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. Get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data for just $30 a month. Just dial pound 250 and say, switch now to save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 and say, switch now.
We're in a drought.
but we've been down this road before. We know how to save. Watering your plants in the early morning or evening saves 5 gallons. More for them, less for evaporation. For tips and rebates, visit SeawaterWise.com.
I know the weight of the world seems to rest on your shoulders, and sometimes life seems like it's filled only with confusion and chaos. But I assure you, I have a plan for you. The Jesus Christ Show. Tomorrow morning at 6 on Kfi Am 640.
More stimulating talk.
Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer. Welcome home. You see the bracket on my mic just snapped off. Mic just fell to the cable. This segment of Home with Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer, brought to you by Duct Tape. It's working. It's working. Working just fine. Duct tape. One of the great joys of life. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining us. We are talking lighting all weekend long, but right now, as is our custom, it's time to go to the phone. So let's go back. John, welcome home.
Hey, Dean, I had something really crazy happen a couple weeks ago, and I have to get your opinion on this. So about 4 years ago, I had the house repiped with test. And so I was at the sink, washing something at the sink, and I heard this loud swishing sound, kind of like maybe water, but a lot of air pressure. And I actually thought it was coming from outside. So I turned off the water at the sink, took a step towards the back door, and then I realized it was coming from my ceiling. So I walked around to where the noise was coming from, and by that time it stopped. So it was probably about 30 seconds of that. And then I had, wasn't sure. Then I thought, that might be the test, because that's where it is, up there in the corner about it being there on an exterior wall. And so I had to leave, came back in 2 hours, and there's about a pint of water on the floor right under the heater vent. So it's kind of a mystery. My plumber didn't know what to say. And so I'm thinking that, the pressure regulator is about 20, and the house water valve is about 25 feet from there, 20 feet. I figured maybe that pressure regulator had a surge and allowed for excessive pressure, and then went back to normal. That was one of the issues I thought you could give me your opinion on. And then the other thing is, have you ever heard of a PEX fitting leaking like that, and then resolving itself where it stopped leaking and never more had another problem after that?
Well, good question. Okay, first of all, the world of construction houses are a very complex thing. And so nothing surprises me these days, after all these years. Weird things can happen. That's all I can tell you. Weird things can happen. And so is it possible that a pressure regulator temporarily fails and then comes back online? I suppose so. I'd have to actually I don't think I've ever talked to a pressure regulator expert. My assumption was that as a pressure regulator starts to fail, it just starts letting go of its pressure resistance, not that it vacillates back and forth, but maybe that's the case. Maybe it'll let go for a bit and then snap back into play as far as controlling pressure. So that's possible. But here's the thing. It's not the pressure regulator letting go that caused the problem. It's the increased pressure that revealed the problem. And it may be a fitting, it may be a small micro crack in the pipe that only, because PEX is some tough stuff that only reveals itself over a certain pressure level when it starts to do its thing. I would continue to investigate that, but yes, in answer to your second question, I have in fact seen PEX connections fail. Now people are saying like, wow, Gene, you've been recommending PEX for years and it can fail? Anything can fail, okay? What I have specifically been recommending and what I want to make sure that I recommend to you, John, is I'll tell you a connection that I've never seen fail on a PEX system, and that is the PEX Type A, or what's sometimes called the Upanor, that's a brand name, PEX Type A expansion fitting connection. There's about 4 different kinds of the connections that can be made with a PEX pipe when you're using the pipe. There are expansion fittings which actually enlarges the end of the pipe around the fitting, and then it shrinks back onto it with a little protective collar. Those things are, in my opinion, bulletproof. They are the only plumbing fitting, to my knowledge, on the planet that gets better with age. The longer it sits there, the tighter it becomes. However, most builders, and if there's a way to ruin something, high production builders will. Most builders will opt, if they're trying to save money, instead of using the expansion fittings and the Type A PEX, they'll use Type B PEX, which is just as tough, it's just not as flexible. And Type B PEX is put together with basically kind of like hose clamps, a clamping system, these rings on the outside of the lines. And you get 2 things going on with that. One, if they're not clamped on exactly perfectly, those are the fittings that I have seen fail before. But I haven't seen them fail down the road, per se. We normally see them fail when we put the house on test first. I'm not saying it isn't the case, but just saying. So when it comes to PEX, it's so dang inexpensive anyway, compared to copper or anything else. I just recommend to people, hey, just go for the good stuff. Go for the best possible fitting that's going to last forever, and minimize those fittings, because that's half of the joy of PEX anyway, is that it's flexible and you don't need a lot of elbows and bent fittings there. So I would continue to investigate that, John, figure out exactly what the case is. There may be a small crack in the line that only shows up under increased pressure. I would definitely investigate the pressure regulator. But if you've got if you don't have expansion fittings on your PEX, and by the way, they're fully rated, these other systems. I'm just saying they got to be put on perfectly. Otherwise, they will fail. And the expansion fitting is kind of foolproof. So consider it. You can always retrofit PEX with expansion fittings if you so desire. Yet another one of its many benefits. John, thanks for the call, buddy. Appreciate it. You know what? We're in a roll here, so I want to take a couple of more calls. When we return back to the phone, I'm so glad you joined me this morning. So much more to come. You're home with Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer, on KFI.
Not just stimulating talk, it's more. KFI.
KOXC HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
The House didn't win. I'm Brian Bruman, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A multi-million-dollar illegal sports gambling ring based in Southern California included a $5 million bet on the 2019 Super Bowl.
U.S. Attorney's Office LA spokesman Tom Morozek says the almost 20-year scheme ran through a website in Costa Rica and involves current and former pro athletes.
This investigation started not quite 5 years ago when a unnamed gambler who had racked up fairly significant debts with this operation approached federal law enforcement.
Documents unsealed this week show 2 gamblers cashing $18 million checks for winnings, a gambler willing to refinance his house to stay in the game, and another who bet $1 million a year for years. In L.A., Corbin Carson, KFI News.
A settlement has been reached in a lawsuit calling on LA to act on homelessness. Mayor Garcetti says city leaders saw the suit as an opportunity to lock down their goals.
To have the protective wings of the federal court ensure that we will, and those who come after us, will live up to our commitments. To to build a future where no one is suffering on our streets.
The city says it'll spend as much as $3 billion over 5 years to provide at least 14,000 beds for homeless people. And SoCal Gas is putting the pedal to the metal on electric cars.
The company has announced it's going to install 240 electric car chargers across different locations this year. Company spokeswoman Elizabeth Rodale says the chargers will help the company with its environmental goals.
We aim to replace 50% of our over-the-road fleet with clean fuels by 2025 and operate a 100% zero-emission fleet by 2035.
The company says it plans to install 1,500 new chargers at different facilities by 2024. It's taken other steps towards its goal, including buying hydrogen-powered cars. Blake Trolley, KFI News.
Detectives say they want to know if any boys in LA have been molested by a priest from any churches in LA.
The LAPD's abused child section says it's possible there are some boys out there who have been sexually assaulted by Fausto Gutierrez. In December of 2019, 63-year-old Gutierrez was arrested by the Riverside County Sheriff's Department after investigators say Gutierrez molested a teenage boy in the city of Paris. The LAPD says at least 2 teenage boys in LA were assaulted by Gutierrez at a location on 56th Street. Gutierrez has already been charged in Riverside County with sodomy and lewd acts with a minor. Steve Gregory, KFI News.
Bruce Willis's family announced the actor is retiring because of a neurological condition.
Aphasia is a neurological condition where your brain, which generates your speech, it has difficulty working. So people may have difficulty either understanding words or producing words or expressing themselves.
Sutter Health neurologist Dr. Manoj Mittal says aphasia can be caused by stroke, a brain infection, certain autoimmune diseases, or traumatic brain injury. And Russia says Ukraine has attacked a target on Russian land. ABC's Karina Mitchell says it's the first time Russia is admitting to an attack by Ukraine over the Russian border.
Saying Ukraine carried out an airstrike on fuel depots inside Russia just 20 miles from the border. Virtual peace talks between both sides continue. Ukraine's chief negotiator says negotiating positions change by the day depending on battlefield gains or losses, which makes the negotiating, quote, extremely difficult.
Ukraine says Russia is leaving mines around homes, abandoned equipment, and even corpses. Ukraine and its Western allies reported mounting evidence of Russia withdrawing its forces from around Kyiv and building up troop strength in eastern Ukraine. Now taking a look at KFI traffic, we've got some Caltrans work on the 405.
Fountain Valley on the north end side of the 405, Euclid to Brookhurst. Caltrans has all lanes shut down. It's scheduled for another 30 minutes or so. You're jammed back to Harbor Boulevard. Southbound lanes have been reopened through that stretch. You need a pretty good drive as you head through that stretch as well. In Corona, the westbound side of the 91 to the 4 Green River crashed in the middle lanes. They're trying to move it off to the right side, seeing delays as you approach the 71. And in Fontana, northbound 15, Sierra Avenue to the 215, Caltrans has 3 left lanes coned off in the stop-and-go drive as you hit Sierra. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Robert Suzuki.
You've been lied to by corrupt Washington politicians and the Wall Street propaganda machine. Hi, I'm Inc. Magazine best-selling author Brett Kitchen, and I want to give you a free copy of my brand new book, Wealth Beyond Wall Street, because we all know another market crash could be right around the corner. After losing 35% in my IRA in the crash years ago, I said enough, and since then I discovered a way to grow money potentially double digits, reduce taxes dramatically, and also have my money protected when the next stock market crash hits. When the next market crash hits, you lose nothing. Call Wealth Beyond Wall Street now to get your free copy and talk with a specialist to discover this little-known strategy to get potential double-digit growth during good years and never lose when the next stock market crash hits, all while building a tax-advantaged retirement. Call 800-908-1616 to discover this asset that people like Walt Disney and JCPenney use to grow wealthy. Plus, get one of just 97 free books left. We even cover shipping and handling, no credit card required. Call 800-908-1616. That's 800-908-1616, 1-800-908-1616. Southland weather from KFI. Low clouds and fog, then some sun by the afternoon. Highs in the 60s at the beaches, upper 60s to low 70s in Metro LA and OC. Mid 60s to low 70s in the inland valleys, and low to upper 70s in the IE. Right now it's 55 degrees in Irvine, 55 in Fountain Valley, 55 in Culver City, and 55 in Inglewood. We lead local, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Brian Bruno.
When
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. You are listening to Home. I'm Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer, custom home builder, custom home designer, here with you live like I am every weekend, Saturdays from 6 to 8, Sundays from 9 to 11. So let me say welcome to the second hour of our fine program. What are we all about? I'm here to help. Here to be an advocate for you as you wrestle with construction-related stuff on your home. A mentor when it comes to design, because if you're going to transform that place where you live, design matters most. And a friend helping you build yourself a more beautiful home. I hope a more beautiful life, because what's the point otherwise? And to do it all more affordably and more artfully than you ever imagined. We're having a conversation this weekend about lessons in lighting. We're going to return to that in just a bit, but we're right in the middle of taking calls, so I'm going to go back to the phones. Let's talk to Bill. Hey, Bill. Welcome home.
Hey, Dean, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay, so I was on the Bluetooth. So anyway, real quick, I have a mid-90s crack house, and it has the typical tub and shower fiberglass type of insert, and I'd like to replace that with a walk-in shower. So I see all these shower a day advertisements, and the product looks nice, and from the pictures anyway, and I was wondering your opinion on that.
Oh, you mean shower in a day? You mean the kind of services that come in and just they say, but in 8 hours we're gonna transform your old shower into something new? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So diplomatic. I don't want to fault any company that provides a service that people find useful and valuable. And I understand in certain situations with budgetary constraints and time constraints that there